toward the One, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of guidance. I want to offer this next Shaghal practice just to give you a sense of another way of getting at it. This practice asks us to lie down. Well, we won't do this. I'll give you the instruction, and then we'll do this part of the practice. But it asks us to lie down with the pillow under the head and gaze between the eyebrows without winking. So this is and breathe from the nose. Take it into the stomach, hold it for a while, and slowly send it out. These are Hazrat Inayat Khan's instructions to Murshida Rabia Martin.
Take it into what?
Take it down into the stomach. Take the breath into the stomach, hold it for a while, and then slowly send it out. So you're gazing between the eyebrows without winking. Now, let's just see if we can do that here. Now, this is like the culmination of this movement of our attention with eyes open that Hazrat Inayat Khan did to turning the eyes up where we're looking at the between the eyebrows, and I think it's helpful if you don't have your eyes wide open when you're doing this, but somewhat closed. So just see if you can maintain this without winking for 30 seconds. So how difficult was that? Very hard.
Yeah. Winking is the fluttering, is that what it?
That's how it's
Which, I mean, you know, he's saying, you know,
I'm editing it to blinking rather than winking.
yeah, blinking, winking, yeah, blinking and winking. Winking and nod. Don't nod.
Before his English got really very good.
So when we do this practice, then we're going to be doing it with 3 different phrases. Let me just read the rest of what Pir Murshid said when he conveyed this practice. In this Shaghal, inhale Murshid, hold Muhammad, exhale Allah. Inhale Murshid, hold Muhammad, and exhale Allah. And then he goes on to say, this practice can destroy death, disease, decay, and give you power to heal sick persons, to help the poor in their needs, to impart your knowledge to the wise as well as to the masses. This makes you very serviceable to the world. If you take it as a service to humanity, not for selfish motives in business, if used selfishly or commercially, you'll lose this power in no time. And if you don't lose much of it, you'll suffer hardships in life and difficulties if you try to use it for just simply selfish purposes. It's meant to be a practice that where you're helping others. I made this, I said, breathing in Murshid, you feel connected with the one teacher in the form that unites you with the stream of the Sufi silsila. So it can be Pir Murshid Inayat Khan. When he gave these practices, he was the only one being called Murshid. But anyone that you look to in that way is the doorway. And that's what the Murshid is in this practice. It's like establishing the connection with the stream of blessing, and to just enter that doorway with the being that you trust. In the form that unites you, retaining your breath, holding the thought, Muhammad, one becomes aware of the light and glory of God in and through the whole manifest universe. That's the whole meaning of the Insani Kamil, the complete human being, whether you call it Jesus, Muhammad, Mary, Buddha, Krishna. I mean, whatever name you call the Rasul, it represents God's perfection in manifestation. And it represents the manifestation of that perfection. Yeah, our neighbor's skateboard. It represents that perfection in throughout the whole of the manifest universe. So it's not, Murshid is a being. Muhammad, in this sense, is the embodiment of God in all manifestation, not just a particular being. It is the perfection of the human being, which reflects the perfection of God in all of manifestation, and that's what the Sufis mean by Muhammad when they say Muhammad. And when you exhale Allah, one unites the inner and the outer, and awakens to that which is present in the outer and inner worlds and transcends all. In other words, now we've gone from being very inner. We've turned our senses back in this Shaghal. Our eyes are back. We're reclined, which helps us in this sense of going back. To be reclined allows that sense of moving back into the interior more easily than sitting erect or standing. Yes?
So we can't hold our nose with our fingers on this practice. We just hold our breath.
Just hold your breath. Just take the breath down deep. When he says into the stomach, he says, take it all the way down, all the way deeply down. Yeah.
Is there a particular duration of the inhalation and holding and exhalation?
It's the same as in the other Shaghal. In other words, retain the breath on the Muhammad part as long as you comfortably can.
Yeah.
As soon as you begin to get that impulse to go, let go, and let go of your gaze at that point too. Don't try to keep maintaining your gaze in the third eye center. So that's another factor in when you need to let go. If you need to let go of that concentrated gaze, then let go of the gaze, let go of the breath, enter into this place where you are there's some other teachings in our text about the place of the human being between the inner and the outer world, between the relative and the absolute, and so on. And this is what you're experiencing here as the God reality is both transcendent, right here, present in our senses, and in the inner world. All three. Transcendent in the sense of, never born, never dying, always perfect, and nothing outside of it. And at the same time, right here in this inner experience and outer experience. So that's just what we want to do with it. I'd like to just see how it goes. So are there questions about it? We're going to lie down on the floor. We're going to put, we got a bunch of pillows here, so we got enough pillows for everybody to put their head on a pillow. And we'll try this, for maybe, 5 minutes, I don't know. And if you get to the place where you just strain too much, just lie there and breathe. Just inhale Murshid, hold the breath Muhammad, and exhale Allah, and do as much of this part of it as you can. But then, if that becomes wearisome, just see if you can just do this without even straining the eyes. Okay.
Would you give the breath instructions again?
Yeah.
Breathing and
I'll read what a non-concept, and then you see. Lie down, pillow under head, gaze between eyebrows without winking, breathe from nose, take into stomach, hold it for a while, slowly send it out. Pretty simple.
When you send it out, is it from
He
this
didn't.
area, or is it just the breath?
Just the breath. The breath is gonna. When he says take it into the stomach, that's what he means. Just take a full breath. Take it all the way in. Be conscious of drawing it all the way into your body. And then when you let go of it, just let go of it.
there's 3 parts to the breath.
But what's your,
You're breathing in,
Murshid.
Murshid. Breathing out,
Holding.
Holding it.
holding.
Retaining the breath of
Right,
Muhammad.
holding. And then on the out breath, you're sending it out.
You're breathing out Allah. And
Out Allah. So where does the Muhammad part come in?
when you hold the breath, you breathe in Murshid, you hold the breath Muhammad,
Okay.
and you exhale Allah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, well, that's why I want to take time, because people, you think you're giving instruction, but some people don't hear it.
I have a
Yes.
question then about the visual part. So for the first part, you're holding that particular kind of gaze. Are the eyes then staying open once you're letting go and releasing more? Or?
When you release, you come into open awareness, but you are because I want you to feel the presence of the reality right here in our midst, in our awareness, and as well as in this inner state that you're evoking, and in the transcendence of the absolute being, beyond all of our conception. And so that's why I would say, eyes open, but they don't have to be like this. They can be, veiled. But enough so that all your senses are open, and at the same time you're in touch with the interior reality and the transcendental reality. But these are philosophical concepts. Just let the practice do it, and relax into it, and don't think too much. Okay. So yeah.
Could you repeat the beautiful imagery he gives for the word Muhammad? He described what he gave an
The perfect
imagery
thing.
in the text.
how are you,
I think I just improvised that, I expanded on the text there by talking about what the Sufis meant by Muhammad, but this is according to the teachings of the Nine. And Muhammad is even the word Muhammad means that which is praiseworthy, or something like that, and Hamid is part of it, so Muhammad is represents the complete human being, the perfection that's in you and 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 you, even me, and even you can say even me, so to feel, but to respecting what the human being is in its fullest sense is the, because, you know, the description of Jesus is, for example, the Sufis say he's the Ruh Allah. Jesus has the consciousness of being the breath, the soul in all beings, you know. So his soul is, so whatever you do to the least of these, you do it unto me. You know, my awareness includes all, you know. So the Insan Kamil's awareness is universal. And so consequently, we are reflecting on the perfection of God within this whole manifest universe, to see the beauty of it, to see the perfection of it in that way. And then when we let go, just let go into Allah, you know, because often when you're doing the practicing, you let go, you say, okay, I'm done now. You know, and it's, no, seriously, I mean, that's just, you know, so this is letting go really slowly and just merging, you know, into that reality that's present. And then breathe in that for a little while before, you know, I mean, take a few breaths in that space. Don't rush back into the next breath of this Shaghal, but when you feel inwardly prepared for that, do it. So if there are not any other questions, let's just try this practice, and I will.
I could be there.
Okay, there should be enough room if we, and I'll take this wherever I'm lying down. So when I think it's enough, I'll ring this bell, and we can come to attention. And if everybody falls asleep, I'll wake you for lunch. So just relax, find your natural rhythm of breath to begin with. Direct your attention into the third eye without straining your eyes at all, just focusing awareness in the third eye. Keeping your eyes open. And when you feel balanced and in equilibrium, and you begin to focus, turning your eyes back into the third eye, maintaining that gaze as you walk. Breathing in Murshid, holding and letting go of focus and breath as you breathe out Allah. Just once breathe out. And you're ready.
Now just close the eyes and do this without straining the eye muscles, and just turn within as you breathe in, hold the breath, and exhale using these things, concentrations. And now from this place where you now are, just send out on your breath a prayer for something, somebody, some situation.
So how do you get up?
How do you get up?
Is there like a breath or something? No, I'll do it. That's teasing, sort of.
While we're waiting a few more minutes for people to come in, if anybody has any questions about what we just did, yeah.
I found the breath a delight, but to put that together with the eyes was like rubbing your stomach and happy.
Yeah.
And I also found, I was right under a light, so that was
Yeah, that
trouble,
was
but,
distracting for me too.
Yeah.
I can imagine my eyes wandering up to my third eye with my eyes shut, but I had no luck doing that with my eyes open.
Uh-huh.
It's interesting.
How many
I just
people had
need to
that
practice.
experience? No luck with the eyes open, or just kind of very, very minimal? Yeah, okay, that's about what I would imagine. And how many
I
people
found it harder with it closed.
with it closed? So there's going to always be a difference with individuals how practice affects you, and also where you are in your stage of working with it. I found for myself, I was having a lot of difficulty focusing the eyes at the beginning, but then after we went on for a few minutes, then it became easier. And then when we closed our eyes, the centering in the third eye continued quite automatically without me having to do that physical act of turning my eyes back. But
I had that too. It was much easier with the eyes closed to focus on the third eye than with the eyes open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, but there's some advantage in doing the eye turning part, because it was very important to Hazrat Ali Khan, and I think by having, and Murshid Sam used to give this practice with the eyes, as a attunement with Lord Shiva. Said, turn your eyes, in one direction totally hard, and and feeling the presence of Shiva, and then shift to the other direction. So there's some quality in working with the eye muscles in a concentrated way that has some benefit, but for some of us it's hard to get close to immediately. Yeah.
Can I share something?
Yeah.
One thing that I've been exposed to from this nervous system trauma work is that the eyes are so important to us, and they're so connected with experiences we've had, and they're connected with our sense of orientation in the world and safety. And so it's very powerful to work with the eyes in this way, and which is a wonderful thing, and sort of good to be gentle and not overdo it, because working with these very primal conditionings and associations, which means the possibility for great benefit, and also to be gentle.
Yeah.
And not push ourselves.
Yeah, that's really important to emphasize, and thanks for that. But did anybody beside me click on that link a week or so ago that Khadija Radin put on the soft bed about the
Oh, gosh.
the boy who echolocates?
Oh, yes.
Did anybody look at that film? A few of us did, 3 of us did. I recommend it. Maybe you can send that link out to people, because here's a boy who had cancer of the eyes when he was 3 years old, and they tried everything, and the only thing to prevent him from dying was to remove his eyes. But he had a very enlightened mother, and seriously, a really enlightened mother, and she really, from the beginning, she taught him, you're not really blind. You have all these other senses to see through, and he taught himself how to echolocate, so that he can now, he rides a bicycle, he can go between things, he skateboards, he can, he walks the streets, he can tell through hearing, just like sonar, where things are. And
He makes a clicking sound.
over time he developed to make a clicking sound that he would bounce back, but he found it out. This is a film about him. He lives in Sacramento. He's now 14 or so, but it's a very moving film, and it teaches us so much about our senses, so I recommend it because that brought up for me, to imagine, all right, all of a sudden, you don't have any vision, but then. And so they're driving down the street, when he first noticed that he could do this, and he said to his mother, do you see that big building there? And she said, yeah, I see it, but can you see it? How can you see it? And so he said, now there's the street, and now there's another building, and now there's another street. So he began, because the sounds of the traffic in the city were bouncing off the walls, so he could tell, he could differentiate between where it was bouncing back and where it wasn't. And then from that, he later learned, taught himself all of this, to make sounds and echoing the sounds. Anyway, you can watch it if you're interested. And it turns out there's one other person in the world that can do it, and he shows up in the end of the movie. It's not really a movie; it's a documentary. So there's an interesting situation there because. Anyway, I don't need to go into the whole story. It's quite extraordinary. Yeah.
I have one question too. In both Shaghal practices, if I hold the breath, retain the breath longer, then I will make up for the oxygenation by breathing through the mouth a little bit in between sessions. But I don't know. So I tried it both ways, like holding it less long so that I could keep in the nose breathing. Do you think? And then I tried doing a little bit of both, at the same time. Do you think there's a difference in that? And the other thing that I kind of noticed is the third eye, almost like, when you're dreaming, your eyes roll back and look at the third eye. So dreams and visions are probably all related to third eye.
Well, there's that one practice in the centering exercises, focusing the breath in the third eye at the moment of sleep. You gain access to the dream world in a totally different way, and into and death in a totally different way. And but I would say my instinct would be to suggest to retain the breath less long and continue to breathe through the nose.
It seemed better that way.
I think that would be what I'm pretty sure Murshid Sam would say to you, because the difference between nose breathing and mouth breathing is very large, and this practice is and nose breathing is much more subtle, and so this is a subtle practice, opening up subtle centers, and we want to stay with the nose breathing.
Did you have a question? Yeah, no.
You wanted to...
I wanted to add something to echolocation. I had a friend that was blind, and I would go shopping with her. And through her fingertips, she could feel out the color and know that it would be perfect for her. And also one time we were standing on the wrong stop waiting for a bus, and she knew immediately. She says, I don't think it's here, it's across the street.
Yeah.
And, she was amazing that way. And she was a Gestalt therapist by profession. She left that and became an artist in her 70s. And she was an incredible artist. The colors she used.
I've got some of her artwork, and she painted pictures, and she wrote poetry about sunsets and their colors.
Uh-huh.
And I never could figure out, because I think she only saw them for a very brief time in her life.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a feel-good sort of situation when you understand that if you really apply yourself, no matter what your conditions are, you can have some amazing creative breakthroughs and understandings. I mean, you know, this boy is playing video games. Yeah,
Shooting baskets.
Huh?
He's shooting baskets. Right.
He's making baskets. Yeah, and yeah, right. And there's this one shot in the film where his friend. He looks up at the camera and he says, "Yeah, it's pretty bad when you get beat at a video game by a blind man."
To put into this space, there's a book I read called Let There Be Light, and it's about a man named Jacques Le Souriant. He was a leader of the French resistance as a young man, like he was 16 or 17, and he's blind.
Mm-hmm.
And for 3 or 4 years, he led this cell of the resistance, and he was the one who interviewed people to join the cell and everything. And so the reason I'm saying that is that it's not just for physical things. So here's a person who operated at the highest level, the biggest stakes, and he was operating on the moral plane, and he was the leader, and he was this young blind person, and it's anyway. And there's a book that you can buy. So I found that very inspiring. So there was no limitation on his action and his power.
Yeah, I mean, Frida Waterhouse was blind, and she knew everybody very well. You couldn't conceal a thing.
Well, really, I had an interview with her. I didn't know she was blind.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You missed that.
You missed that.
Where were you?
And to just take a little time doing the meditation that we're doing pretty much every day, and I'd just like to do it together for a while, and to feel just grounded in this basic practice and how it evolves. So we start with being aware of our breath in a refined way, rhythmical way, in which we just become one-pointed and resting in the breath. Making room for the pause at the top and at the bottom of the breath. Breathing in and out of the heart center, we feel the life in the breath, the prana, the current of life from the all-pervading life in space. So let your breath touch this spaciousness that we live and move in, and draw this living current right into our body so that we feel an increase in livingness and magnetism right in our physical body. So you're breathing this way for a few minutes. Recognizing this living magnetism as Ish, as all-pervading love, we draw this loving magnetic energy in and out of our heart center. And we invite into our atmosphere all the divine perfections that are calling forth to us strength, and forgiveness, and wisdom. Whatever comes up, just draw it right into this field. It's all held in this field of love that the current of the breath can draw right into your center of being, radiating in and out, feeling close and not separate from these inherent qualities in our soul. And turning our attention to a being that incorporates the perfections in a way that inspires our heart and our love. And tonight, why don't we all just turn to forms of God in the feminine face, the Divine Mother, the Tara, the Kuan Yin, the Magdalene, all these embodiments of divinity. Murshid Sam calls the formless absolute our mother, the cosmic egg out of which this womb of love, everything emerges out of this infinite space. The mother we return home to. So feel our connection with the Holy Mother, the holy manifestation of God in the feminine form through all the aspects of being. We all want to be embraced by that. And as we feel held by that and we let go of ourselves in that reality and surrender to it in such an easy way, we feel emerging with it, and we can enter that heart that holds all in the way she holds all and become part of that healing of the wound of humanity, the suffering of being. look down on yourself in this room from that vantage point of the Holy Mother, and hold yourself and all of us in that embrace. And open that heart to all beings. Om Tara Tu Tare Ture Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Ture Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Ture Soha. Ture Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Ture Soha. Yeah. Well, I feel pretty cooked. So, and I appreciate the presence of all of you and what the journey we're taking together very much. I'd like to get out and wash your feet. I have this sense, wanting to do that. We should do some foot washing sometime. I like that idea. But if there's anything on your heart, bring it up. Let's just be open in that way. But my dear friend here said, everybody's full already, so don't worry about going on too long tonight. I certainly feel that way. And I want to give some attention to the practice of Mujahida, or Mujahida. It's a classical practice of Sufism done in different ways, and it may help some of us create the frame or the capacity or the space where we can more easily go into the Mushahida contemplation. And it's valuable in and of itself. It goes back to a situation in the life of the Prophet Muhammad when they had been able to make Arabia safe for the practice of their religion, because they'd been a bunch of pacifists, turned the other cheek Muslims, and they had been virtually eliminated, and they received the inner command that this was the only condition which justified a jihad, that people were taking away from you your freedom to practice your religion. That's the only condition, you see. Though jihad is in the news and a lot of people's egos get appropriated with it. This is a classical Sufi tradition we're talking about, traced to the Prophet Muhammad. And so after they'd been successful in overcoming this by opposing the opposition, but very often just finding the way to outsmart them and out-negotiate them, In any case, they had achieved success. He said, now we've won the greater jihad against external, the lesser jihad rather, against external enemies, and now's the time to turn our attention to the greater holy war, which is to overcome our own blinding enemies within, greed and jealousy and lust and self-loathing and hate and all of these things that blind us to our real nature. So that's that intention to overcome the deluding emotions is just exactly what is undertaken in Buddhism by the Bodhisattva, who says, no matter how innumerable the deluding passions are, I vow to extinguish them. No matter how countless the pathways of the truth, I vow to take them all to the end. No matter how innumerable the beings there are, I vow to liberate them all. So I mean, it's going to be around. This person is going to be around for a long time. It's a tremendous vow. But the first thing is, you vow to overcome the things that are deluding you. So how can you, as Jesus said, pluck out the splinter in your friend's eye when you're blinded by the large 2x4, the piece of wood in your own eye. So that's the Mujahida practice. Perhaps, there's a big piece of wood out here that you're really, you see the evil of and the wrongness of and all of that about it. And maybe you have just a little splinter in your eye, which makes you reactive toward that quality, and your reactivity towards it, not your activity towards it from your place of authenticity and fullness of being and light. That's what life asks of us. But if we're just on reactive mode, then we are not able to accomplish what we might otherwise. So this is to disarm our own army. I remember during the Vietnam War, when someone said to Murshid Sam, they said, what do we have to do to stop this? And he said, just stop pulling the triggers in yourself. It comes down to that. So, everywhere we're interconnected. The trigger out here is connected with the trigger in here through a bond of interconnectedness. And so by truly and authentically and honestly trying to deal with our own issues, we are actually helping all of those things that resonate with us in the great interdependent resonance of vibration that is our life together here. So the practice just asks us first to go within and to center our being in the capacity of heart, which we do in a lot of these practices that we're doing. So it comes right in the very stream of what we're doing, to take a nice measured breath, balanced, letting it become refined and letting it massage the space in the heart. Just come in and out of the heart space. And just settle into that. You can take Allah, Allah on the breath if you like, to remind you of what you're going to be massaging this space with, just this sense of divine perfection, of the only being. And you look into your heart like into a globe, and you feel into it. And you feel and see the places where there are impressions, that you might call them samskaras, issues, things where we have reacted to some wound or some prodding of some sort and coagulated around it an impression. So just we become sensitive to those, and we are looking to allow them to release so that they can be dissolved, and that one can come just, at least for now, into a place of non-judgment and clarity and transparency to light on the inside. So we just begin to address these impressions within with this light, refined breath carrying the healing of Allah, the one and only being. And it may be relatively easy to clear the impressions of the day and the temporary worries, but then there are deeper impressions that arise, and we don't gloss over them. We just throw the light of this breath right into them and illuminate them without any fear. If people come up that make you uncomfortable, that make you want to avoid them, that arouse your sense of judgment, look into yourself and see your relationship to the quality that that person or that group of people has in common that arouses this samskara, this impression within yourself, and then work on clearing that with this gentle, accepting, releasing love that says you don't have to cling on to grudges, you don't have to cling on to this, just be. And what this means as an active practice is just finding the way to clear the heart so that the light of the soul shines through very transparently, and doing it, coming back to it whenever an impression arises and takes root in a place where you have your place where you're going to hold this and stew about it, and it's going to be alive, whether it's conscious or unconscious, immediately go into it and look it in the face and allow it to be cleared. maybe you come to some deep layer of self-loathing or judgment. But don't give up when you get there. Everyone has places that they get to. Just continue to stay in your practice and know that if I keep coming back to this with this breath of compassion and love and acceptance and offering it up to the One, in time it will respond. And heal more and more. So I'm going to stop talking for a minute after saying that just we're going to sit here with this breath for another minute or two and practicing this heart that is transparent to light and being, whenever we find this impression that comes up, we go to that and we massage it in the light with the breath. Offer it up.
Sounds like a lot of us know it. Let's sing it through. We'll just be with the zikr part, and then I'll call out Dhul, and we'll do that. Does everyone remember the movements, or shall we go over them?
Let's just try.
Let's do it. So be really loose in the zikr movement. You know? Figure eight with your heart as you're moving.
Yes.
La
Let's say Khatum together. O thou who art the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, Lord of heaven and earth, open our hearts that we may hear thy voice, which constantly comes from within. Disclose to us thy divine light, which is hidden in our souls, that we may know and understand life better. Most merciful and compassionate God, give us thy great goodness, teach us thy loving forgiveness, raise us above the distinctions and differences which divide. Send us the peace of thy divine Spirit, and unite us all in thy perfect being.